this is something we've been planning for a very long time. This has been there on the roadmap for quite a while. We felt this is appropriate that we do it now. So this will be a casual talk. This is something we do in general. Romba regular all through this episode of bringing up Loupe. We've been having this conversation, myself and Santhosh. So இது எந்த மாதிரி வச்சுக்கணும்னு பார்க்குறோம்னா super casual, because our usual interaction is with food. So we eat, we talk. So அதே மாதிரி we'll just, now it's lunchtime for us. We've been starving, so we have food, we have the stuff that we want to talk about, and we have a kitchen just working behind us. So you will probably get to see that. This would be what we want to give away, or what we want to produce in terms of this podcast is, what if two people were to sit in a kitchen and just talk their minds out and how they came through this and their plan forward. இது அந்த மாதிரி தான் யோசிக்கிறது. Okay.
Done.
So in the episode we'll kind of talk about us, who we are, என்ன எடுத்துட்டு வந்திருக்கோம் as such, எதனால Loupe, the whole conversation, and we'll just walk and see how it goes. Okay.
Done.
Okay. So in terms of who we are, Santhosh, let's start with you. So
Yes.
probably your childhood as such, what kind of a person?
Okay.
I'll get into food, so don't mind. And
Yeah, okay, done. So I was the last child of my family. So
brothers, sisters?
one brother, elder. I grew up in a not very conservative family where we were allowed to mess around a lot. Fall, get up, do something, figure out. We are not constrained or restrained in any way that this is what you should do. This is what has to be done, has to be followed as such. So I had a happy childhood growing up. Spent a lot of time with my parents, with my mother specifically. So that is where the food part enters. Pretty much fun childhood. Traveled a lot.
Were you studious as such?
No, not at all. I remember being a kid. I used to be from, let's say, till grade 2 probably, and then I switched places. So we moved to a different country, back to India. From that, it took a downhill because I had to take up Tamil as one of the languages.
So when did you move to India? At which age? How old are you?
8. I joined here for 3rd grade.
Third standard.
Third standard, yes. Okay, sorry, yeah.
So till then you were... Okay, till then you were in...
My father was a doctor, so he had work in an island called Seychelles. He was working there, so the whole family moved there. I was born in Chennai and then immediately transported to a different place.
Okay.
My brother was studying there before that. He's 5 years elder than me.
So when you were actually born, your family was actually...
No, my father was there. My mother came here for the delivery. And then after the delivery, 2-3 months after that, the whole family was back there.
Yeah.
Because jobs were there and they couldn't leave and drop everything and move here. My mother is an English teacher, so she also had a job there.
Okay, nice.
Both working parents.
But what is... I mean, all the while... I mean, I'm not speaking for everyone, just for me at least.
Okay.
I have no clue as to what Seychelles is, except for the name as such.
Okay.
But how different is it from Chennai as such?
very very different. So Seychelles,
I've been to Andaman, by the way, just for a comparison for an island as such.
okay, I have never been to Andaman. So
Mhm.
okay, to put a perspective on the visuals, it should look the same. Blue seas, white sand, clean cities, white people pretty much everywhere. Seychelles had influences from primarily Africa. There was equal Africans, French, and Indians. Indians were minority per se, not heavy, but heavy on the African influence, Jamaican African influence. So it was to grow up there and then move to Chennai. Even though I moved at a very young age, it was still a cultural shock.
Do you regret? At least at that point in time?
I did a lot. I didn't want to move from there. So we lived on a hill in the island. So the place was beautiful basically. You drive off down the hill, there'll be a beach, there'll be golf course, good food. We had a lot of great company over there. My father's friends as such. So the landlord of us is from is a native of that island. He makes he has the habit of hosting barbecues every weekend, and my father had a couple of friends who also had so the habit of weekend barbecues, food for socializing is something they follow on a regular routine. On weekends, Saturday barbecue, Sunday barbecues, where a bunch of families gather, sit, food, beer, and have fun. So that was it. For me, since I was not very old there, and for me it was all joy. All I remember is
Yeah, I mean,
happy
I
things.
can not I wouldn't say resonate as such, but
Hmm.
for a person or for a kid being raised in Chennai, for me, getting to know that something like barbecue exists itself took easily 20 years.
20, 25 years.
Pretty
But
nice.
that recently got started. Like not far back. Barbecue in Chennai is something which took off very recently.
Now, with this childhood as such, so once you moved to Chennai,
So I first moved to Kanchipuram. So my father's place is Kanchipuram. We moved there, finished our schooling, and then for college, I was a day scholar. Schooling was initially hard because of language one.
okay,
We didn't have Tamil over there. We studied French because of the influences over there. And Tamil is not a language to take there. So for moving here, the first major block was language. We spoke Tamil at home. We had conversations in Tamil. Again, being 8 years old, not much conversations, but still, I remember a family being talking in Tamil. Learning Tamil took 4 to 5 years easily to write, speak comfortably, write, and take it as a subject and do.
which class were you on ideally at that
I
time?
started at third standard. It until 6, 7, I remember struggling with the language, the grammar.
Which is even a case for people who are born, brought up in Chennai from their childhood, right? So,
Okay, is it? Because
I know people who had difficulties logically. So when you hit the 12th standard, or not 12th standard, you finish your 10th, you step into 11th, many people switch languages. So if they were in Tamil or Hindi, they would switch to French, so that it's easy marks, makes their life easier and all this stuff. So all of those people who switched ideally were not comfortable with Tamil. So which means you're pretty much the same state, which is okay, right?
Okay, but for me it felt the odd one out because
maybe Kanjipuram was like
it has a lot of Tamil influence. So academically, that did a drop
Yeah.
for a certain period of time. I was average, not a studious person. Never tried to be a studious person, never wanted.
What is average?
75 average.
Okay.
Okay. Not average, above average.
Yeah, that's pretty sufficient for the system that we have in India, right?
Yes.
75 is pretty good.
When I was studying, 40 was the passing bar.
How is it?
I started, so till 8th, 7th or 8th, I was in the ballpark of 50s, 60s. And then I did a school switch in between from 6th. So that was a different environment to be in. It created a good place, a safe place where, let's say, a happy place to be in. The previous school I was scared to be in. Probably not good content for YouTube. Okay. The first school, since the first one joining after switching places, it was very hard. That being a buffer, the next school was easier. It was a happier place to be in. From that, education slowly started improving. But again, above, I would put a 70 to 80s maximum. Never crossed that. Also never went below that. Maintained that constantly till 9th. 10th was good. 10th was really good. 10th boards. State board. I did state board. 10th was good. 11th and plus 1, plus 2, I did Biomax. I didn't have any direction after 10th as in I wanted to do medicine or computer science or accounts. I was never particular on this is what I want to be when I grow up. So my parents suggested this will give you an open, a broader passage after you move to the next place. So Biomax was an option suggested.
Is it because your father was a doctor?
He hoped I would become.
Okay.
But again, he also gave me the reality check that if you do this, this is not an easy thing to do. And for me, that at the moment it was, I felt like I'm not that serious of a person to take a career that serious. So medicine was out of the ballpark.
Of the two of you, your brother
Yes.
and yourself, who was technically the most studious in terms of marks as such? So
In terms of marks, I was.
yeah.
Because when he moved here, he joined 8th. For him, it was an even
Okay,
harder
yeah.
switch
That's
to take
right.
up and study. So he struggled even more than me. So in terms of marks, yes, I did a better job. My father hoped at least one of us would become a doctor. Neither of us did. He's pretty disappointed. Biomax was the go-to for if you change your mind in the course, you can become. So I took Biomax. The 11th, 12th was interesting. So plus 2 was again good, 85%. And then I had a choice of it was either going to be culinary or engineering. The suggestion was do the professional course, take what you like on
But
the
how did
side.
that actually come into your plate?
The food part, culinary.
Yeah.
Food, again, my early influence from the place I grew up.
Probably, if you were to tell who you are at the moment, so
Yes.
the people who are watching, they'll at least get an idea as to where you're going to go. So
Okay.
give a part. Of course, sapilla.
Yes.
That can happen parallel.
Okay, then I'll get to it. So I'm an F&B consultant, a food and beverage consultant. Right now, that is my job title or career position where I am right now. The food part, so right now I help people or brands set up or start up new ventures, or if you have an existing venture, better operationalize it, streamline the processes in the back end so that operation is streamlined. Basically, I help set up processes on the back end. Take a step back, the food part, why food consultant, why food business. Food was always a huge part of my life. The early influences of food started from my mother. Being living in different places, Chennai. My mother is from Chennai. Then moving with my dad. She was also living in Kanjipuram for a while, where she used to cook for the whole family. My father had a huge joint family,
Okay.
5 brothers, each family, multiple, so huge family. So she has lived in different places, and that made her creative in the kitchen. She never followed, like, she's the person who taught me recipes are not to be followed. Recipes are a framework. You work with what you have. That is what makes food special. When I was in school, there was cable TV at home, and there was a secondary TV, the free TV the government gave. We had that in the room. So, and the cable used to have Fox Life, TLC, a few English channels where they were doing a lot of food shows, and that got me hooked onto food to begin with. Maybe from sixth standard, I'd say. So I had a TV, and whenever I had time, there was some food show running constantly. Wouldn't matter whether it was repetitive, same show again, but there was something around food running on the TV constantly. So that started the part of interest in food. From that, and then once I was at an age where I could participate in the kitchen, not let's say physically. I was able to handle knives, or at that stage I started
When was this? At what age?
14, 15 approximately.
Yes. See, two different thought process altogether.
Okay.
I see a show where you get to see exotic food, food being made well. I'll want to eat it.
That's the same emotion I had. But when you live in Kanjipuram, you don't have access to a lot of ingredients or places which would do those food. And again, I didn't have a group where I was able to explore food also. It didn't matter whether it was Kanjipuram or Chennai. So that is what triggered the next instinct of let's try to recreate this. You see something, it looks interesting, looks tasty. You can't get it now. So let's try creating it or recreating it. And I remember I learnt about dry brining your chicken, which is where you salt the meat, let it sit in the fridge, where a science happens, the seasoning enters the meat gets salt. That is the science behind it. So my father used to get meat on Sundays. That is the routine on families here. We get meat on Sundays. I took a few pieces out, salted it, put it in the fridge, cooked it the next day. It was extremely salty. Again, I didn't know much. So, but that part of me where I wanted to try something, when I see something, that got me going. And then my interest went more towards that. I started buying for it. We then bought an oven for the house. We bought blowtorch, small equipments, knives. My expenses or whatever pocket money I would get, most of it would go into let's buy this ingredient, let's try for this, let's buy this, let's save money and buy a knife, let's save money and buy something. There would also be a lot of useless spends, obviously, but
From what you say, you sound like a more disciplined, nice kid.
kind of. I wasn't very rogue in actions, as in in school or at home. Not a problematic kid.
Yeah, I can actually vouch for that for people who are in general watching this.
Okay, thank you.
And this is something I felt a lot. I've told you
We've
as
had
well.
this
I've told my
conversation.
family
Yes.
members as well. Santhosh is one person of the younger lot that I've met who is disciplined. Being passionate and all those stuff is different, but being meticulous on paper, documenting everything, having a if you go and ask him what happened on the second trial when you have crossed 40 trials, he'll still have data to give you. So the level of detail that it goes into all of the documentation is pretty more than pretty good. It's a lot. It's a lot for someone to do. I mean, you're doing it effortlessly. Good.
Yes.
Stay that way.
It is
For
a
me, that looks super huge. So that's how I'd see it.
okay. Yes, I was always within rules, within boundaries.
Is that something that your family carried? And
I
you
guess
got to.
so.
Mhm.
My parents were the influence for all these, I would say.
Yeah.
They follow a routine, they have their work.
I should also attribute whatever I do to my family. I don't document anything. I don't do anything.
Yeah, my father used to have files for every bills, named each file, have the file in different drawers on the table. So I think it starts from there. Unconsciously, you start replicating that part. Till college, it was me, home kitchen, mother cooking. She gives me a job, I do it. Probably chopping vegetables, fruits, anything for the daily cooking she does. And that is how the first entry into the kitchen started. So I would do something, and I remember timing myself on cutting an onion. So I would chop an onion. I'd say it took this much time today. Let me see if I can do it faster. So I used to be self-competing in the kitchen. So that part was good. Till that point, it was not serious to consider as a career or as a higher education. So it was going till 12th standard, where food, I was in the kitchen almost every day in the morning. And after the board exams, when I thought I wanted to do engineering, I had automobile engineering as an option. But again, I was told that it narrows your end goal. Do mechanical. It will be wide.
The idea is to survive somehow.
Yes. I was not the kid where I want to be an astronaut. I will do everything to be an astronaut. I was not that. So let's figure out. That was the journey from the beginning. Engineering was a turning point in general. I think for everybody it is. Was not focused on engineering is a place where academics was natural for me. I was not pressured, or neither did I force myself to get good marks, but I naturally did well on the above average category. So for 4 years, the streak maintained. It went well. In 2019, not sure, second year or third year, that time through a friend, I had the opportunity to go for a cooking competition. It was
This one is off your college.
yes, not in my, it is a college event, but it happened in a different place. And we went there not for food. We went there to meet the chief guest, which was an actor.
Okay.
Again, I was called because the competition was the open competition was food, and the person who called me knew that I cook.
So you become the bait, basically.
Yes.
Santhosh is going, we are going along with him. You get permission and
No.
not like that. Okay.
I will go. How I can go is I can take Santhosh, so I can go.
Okay.
So
Almost. Well, that's a usual trend.
yes, that happened, and accidentally I won that day for that competition, which is where the spark of okay, this can be done as a career started. Till then, it was fun, jolly. I do it because I like it. Nobody else around me showed interest in it. It was me and food. That competition was a turning point, which I met people who were in the industry who taught me cooking is not the only job in this industry, which a lot of people still believe is. This industry needs more than cooking. Cooking is a small part of what is happening here. I knew that at that competition, the judge I met. So again, we that competition had students from culinary college. Majorly, 60% were students from culinary college, and a few normal students. How I won, the reason the judge gave was reasonable, but that was not what we were expecting. I was expecting to go do something, give it a shot. But winning that changed everything. At that point, I felt, engineering is useless. Let's quit and move to culinary, was my initial thought the moment I won. Like, screw this, I'm going to do this. Yeah.
It's called bolai.
Usually happens. Thankfully, did not act on it. Happy about it. So, finished engineering, 4 years. Placements usually happened. Got a job. Again, with the job, I was not particular that you wanted to get the high paying at the biggest company. Till then, I was at a point where let me do something I would like. So, I took a job as a service advisor in a car showroom, since the interest for cars were following along that. Took that, work for a month, did not work, quit. It's a terrible job. Hard job, very hard job. Again, it didn't pull me in for the long run. When I was doing that, I got an opportunity to work for a startup, a product development startup. So I joined there, worked for 6 months, and then we had to switch. I had to switch because of general startup reasons. From that, moved into a more corporate design engineer job where I was working for a third party of a bigger company. That was my last actual job where this is okay. I shouldn't say that probably. This is also an actual job. But the point is, this doesn't feel like a job. That is where it comes from. You should. It is. I was working as a design engineer for almost a year when it loops back to the competition. The judge from that competition, he runs a consulting company. College was mostly, or job after college, mostly work, home. I traveled again. My last job, I traveled 60 kilometers a day on bike.
30-30.
30-30. Kodambakam to Siraseri. That was also, that didn't allow me to do much around the job. It was wake up, travel job, travel back, rest. Because that will do to your body, the 30 kilometers of biking every day. 1 year into the job, I randomly saw a post where this person running this company is looking for a person to help with the business. It was not a form to fill. It was your name, number, mail, and then why food. Write about why you like food. Late in the night, I wanted to give it, let's do it. No harm in doing it. Wrote something, left it, didn't think about it much. A week later, a person from the company calls. You have been shortlisted for an interview. Went, met. It wasn't not a formal interview per se. It was just that person and me having a conversation about why you want to do this. We had a talk. He was convinced that I'm capable of pulling this off. And he convinced me that this could be a career. Again, I was on the fence. because I'm leaving a paying stable
Of
job.
course.
The
This was kind of an internship, right?
the one being offered,
Yeah.
yes, like it was a trial for
Paid
me.
internship.
For me also it was a trial. Since I was 23 at that time, my mindset was, let's give this a shot. If it doesn't work, I'm still young, I can go back and get a job. Go back and get a job. That was the idea. I was prepared to fail in this because not being educated in this, I was ready to fail in this. I convinced myself I'll try for 1 year. If it doesn't work out, I'll quit and go back to my regular job. Continued that. That is when I joined a consulting company. Learned there is more to this business than food. So that is how, from there, this journey starts of being a consultant, helping brands, creating food, all that.
Good. Nice.
Let's start with your childhood.
Okay. My name is Shanmuganathan.
Okay, emphasis on the lengthy name.
Yeah. And I go by Shunmoo.
Okay.
Shunmoo. Shunmoo.
Okay.
This is usually a problem. I'm a software person, so in the பெரிய நேம்ன்றது is usually a problem there. So they come up with all forms, however they like. I prefer it to be Shunmoo. So it's okay for me to, at least it sounds
Palatable.
okay for me. Okay. Me as a person, I'm a happy person in general. I'm not sure if that's how I was always, but for a longer phase of my life where I've been not cautious, where I've known what I'm kind of doing, aware of what I'm doing, I've known myself as a happy, positive person. Probably that's how I was when I was a child also. So I was born, brought up Chennai, perfect Chennai breed. 80s born, late 80s born.
Okay.
I did my schooling at St. Michael's. I don't have brothers, sisters, no one as
Single
such.
kid.
Just the one guy. I had a happy childhood.
Okay.
Average student, let's say.
Okay.
I didn't
Define.
have average is the same average as what you had. I would say probably lesser than what you had, a bit, maybe around the same lines. I was more into I'm a movie person. So since my childhood, I've been a hardcore movie person. So it's been all around movies and education as such. No other breaking points in general.
Sports, nothing. Okay, wrong question.
I was interested in cricket in general. I had a big interest towards that. I was about to say passion, but wrong word. So
Okay.
big interest towards that. But a typical family where
Sports is looked down.
they were like, no, better get your studies done perfectly. I was average in studies also, or
They didn't want to lose
I
that.
didn't bring any noise from school to home, so my parents were like, okay, everything is going fine. Or I made sure they never came to school so that they actually don't get to know me. I've had my fair share of what I had to do at school, but my parents never got, probably till date, they don't even know what.
Not after this, maybe.
I don't think they'll see this, so pretty safe.
Okay.
And now I'm a father of a kid, so now it's all off the charts.
Okay, you have to be straightened.
Yeah. Now, so yeah, where was I? So,
Okay, movies, average student.
Yeah.
Movies. Okay, how did that start, or Where did that come from?
As an interest towards movies is my mother is kind of the same category where we used to go if we used to have this. Now you see this multiplex as such. Right? Probably when you were born, or when you
Later
maybe around your 10th standard or something, multiplex were already there.
started, yes.
For us, when we were doing school and all, multiplex was not even a concept. So, all by multiplex, it was basically like not like the malls that we have now. Earlier, it was like one single building where you have 4 theaters. That was possible.
Okay.
If we were to call that as multiplex, yes. So, what we used to do is we used to go one fine day for a morning show over there. Those days we used to have scheduled shows. 11:45, 11:15 the first show starts. The next one would be 1:45 odd. Next would be at 6. The next one would be 9:30 odd. So we go there at morning 11:45 odd. We go for show 1 to one theater, second show, third, fourth, finish everything in one shot, come back home. This we've done this quite a few times. So the habit of watching movies and in terms of knowledge, you have to gather this from somewhere, right? Your knowledge, your belief, either someone has to teach you, you have to gather it from somewhere. For me, it was all movies, predominantly.
Okay.
It's not like someone preaches something and you blindly follow. Of course, you put in your thought, you see what's happening around, you pick what is right, what is not, and segregate and form a belief system around it. For me, my core system, if you were to call Bible, Quran, whatever around this, for me, movies was that.
Was it any particular kind? Hollywood, Bollywood, Tollywood,
Pure Tamil,
PR Tamil?
Hollywood.
Okay.
I don't remember seeing even one English movie till I crossed probably, or the only category of English movies that I saw till I did my 10th standard would probably be Jurassic Park and all those content. So I'm pretty much a typical Chennai boy, Chennai bred person. So
Nice.
works that way. So schooling was pretty simple. I think I had a decent marks, but I'm not into academics as such. By that, what I mean is I'm not so aware of what's happening around me. So I have my set of friends, 3-4 people. Then I have movies to concentrate on. Then a portion of studies which becomes a mandatory part of life. But when all the other friends of mine or the classmates of mine, when they're preparing for something in general, I have no clue as to what they are preparing for in terms of studies. So there is an entrance exam that's going to happen. There is this.
Okay.
I was not even aware that there was an entrance exam when I finished my 12th standard. I did computers in 12th because I wanted to do computers. I was interested towards that. Not sure why, no reasons, but for some, I had a connect for that for some reason. I couldn't explain why. Probably you play games on computers. Maybe that was the familiarity. I belong to the GTA 3 era.
Okay.
Or probably even pre-GTA 3 where it was all aerial view. So I belong to that.
Did not know that existed.
There is a version before GTA 3 where it's GTA is all aerial view. I think it's called just the GTA, probably Grand Theft Auto as such. Then came the GTA 3 Liberty City and so on. So I belong to that.
San Andreas was before or after that?
After Liberty City, Vice City, San Andreas.
Okay.
That's the difference between. If at all people were to gauge the age, that's where.
Yes. I know Vice City. You know the aerial view of GTA. So
I'm 36. I don't want to leave it to go a stage where this guy is 45. Not ready for that.
Okay. Done. So games, computers, computer science.
Yeah, I took computer science in 12th. I had pretty decent marks in terms of mark sheet as such.
State board, CBSE.
State board.
Okay.
I had a good life.
Okay.
I didn't suffer much. My parents were not. They were not aware of all of this at that time. So metric was how we, for us, we had matriculation in
Matriculation,
10th, and
yes.
then
Same.
this one. And then for college, yeah, I didn't attend any entrance exam. Nothing. Wasn't even aware that such a thing exists. Cutoff mark. All
All
of
the
this was off my
JEE.
purview. It
Okay.
was totally off. When people were literally like, "What's your cutoff?" I mean, I got to know about this conversation few months later when one guy randomly asked me, "What's your cutoff?" I was like, "What's cutoff?"
Oh.
It might sound lame today.
Yes.
That time when I asked this question and they gave an answer, I was like, shit scared because, oh, what's going to
This is
happen?
going to define your life moving on.
Post your exams and the entire break level, all into poker. Poker was something like to learn the rules, to remember the rules, to prepare yourself for poker. அதுவே வந்து எனக்கு ஒரு this is actually nice அப்படின்னு இருக்கும்.
Okay.
So we used to put in money to play,
Okay.
10 rupees, 15 rupees, something like that.
Okay.
Whoever wins, there was a small bakery next to his house, so we used to go there, buy something, eat. End of the day, it was all fine, but the whole act of understanding the rules, playing your game, that poker gives you a high. It does. It gives you a high because you have to fool a person sitting opposite to you, knowing what you have, estimating that he might have something, or just bluffing the entire scene, having nothing. That is, your heart is like, it'll literally come out. You'll be able to see your heart beat, and to win or lose, whatever. That was the different stuff. So my entire holidays was into poker, and I was like, good, 12th finished, holidays are done with poker. I wasn't aware of such an exam
Any
to exist.
exams?
Eventually I got a seat in one of the colleges and
Okay.
got into that. Again, Chennai miga arugamiyil. I had to travel from Vadaparani, Virugambakam to Avadi.
Okay.
The usual situation. Chennai has this usual problem.
No,
For you, it was
colleges-
from Kanchipuram to this side. For me, it was from Chennai to. That's pretty normal for anyone who wants to do engineering. The only difference is that between what you did and what I had was, when I did, it was literal forest.
Okay.
This is way back in 2005. Yeah.
Okay.
2005 is when I started my engineering. I did in electronics. Same story, not much of a difference. I wanted to do computer science. Electronics and communication became like, you have electronics and computers, so you can venture into anything based on what works for you. For me, studies was not a huge problematic item as such. The typical Indian style of not studying at all, planning
Last
your
minute.
you had this study holidays, right? Yeah, planning your study holidays, and I used to plan my study holidays pretty well. இப்போ ஒரு எவ்வளோ 15 days கொடுப்பாங்களா, 15-20 odd days,
10 days, 15 days, 2 weeks max.
yeah, around that. So I used to do timetables for that, proper schedule to schedule everything properly. How many ever units that may be, the proper schedule panni. I used to start studying at 3 a.m. in the morning
Okay.
and finish studying by around 9-10.
Morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then sleep after that. And then I think the next day the routine would be this.
Basically wanted to get the job done in that time.
No, I tried different things. It didn't work. So I tried studying in the morning hours. After studying for 5-6 hours, I've got a break for sleep. I had this routine where I have to sleep. Only then my mind comes to a situation where it can take even more. But when you want to sleep, you wouldn't be able to. So I tried to sleep, force myself into sleep, and I spent hours trying to sleep. After knowing that this is not happening at this point of time, I kind of switched the time where
Okay.
Go do your usual routine, sleep, wake up at 3 a.m., where no one is literally up, no one is going to talk, start studying, and close by 10 a.m. So I was doing this pretty effectively. And during exams, if I have an exam tomorrow, I would go for a movie tonight just to ease off the tension. I was not expecting to score a centum. No. I was expecting to score pretty average.
Decent
I,
marks.
I did quite decent for the way I studied. I was pretty happy. I did this, I got this. Done. No regrets. I mean, I wasn't bad either. So that went well. My college life was pretty happy. Always been like that. So I always consider myself as God's chosen one. So happy life, good schooling, good college. And then I started to work software person. I've been doing this for probably 15 years or so. I've been working for 15 years, so pretty decent.
Okay.
Anything else?
So college, EC, 4 years. So movie was a passion. Any venture into that? Did you try the usual short film route? Anything?
Ah, yeah, I did one short film stuff. Yes, I
Okay.
tried. I was interested in directing, or I thought myself, whatever I see, I'm able to frame that properly.
Okay.
Everyone has superior thought about whatever they see, right?
Yes. You'll
For me,
eventually get a reality check of that.
so whenever I cross the Katipara bridge, the circles you do around it. So my first, I work for Infosys first, so which is
Okay.
in Mahindra city. So after finishing all the training at Mysore, come back. So my house was in Viragambakam. So from Viragambakam to Mahindra city is, I don't know the distance, but it's,
Different city.
yeah, altogether.
Yes.
So if I miss the office bus, then it's all by bike. So you have so much time to travel that that phase of life, it was like whatever you see, I was like, this looks nice as a frame. This looks nice as a frame. So I was like, oh, you're meant to be a director.
That is
Good.
your
There is a
calling.
big director in you. So we wrote a short script. We did a short film.
Okay.
Did a bunch of ads.
Okay.
All within the circle. And all those stuff. So when you work for a big company like Infosys, there is always something happening where you can participate into it and do something. So that's how that was. After a period of time, I'm more into designing stuff. So the Photoshop and things around that. So got Photoshop interest started during the symposium days of college. ಅಪ್ರತಿಲಿಂದ ಅದು அந்த tool மேல ஒரு interest. So அது அப்படியே
Okay.
when I started working in software, after a point of time, I mean, we were staying in a room where a bunch of other friends were also staying, so bachelors together. So ஒரு app பண்ணுவோமே. We started building apps within ourselves. So அப்போ I used to design another person code. அப்படியே got into designing, became more passionate about code as such. I took software pretty seriously and started to travel in that. Didn't have any side thoughts as such.
Okay.
During this period, I got married and all those stuff as well. So, moviesக்குலாம் அது ஒரு பெரிய
டைம் கொடுக்கல.
அப்போ ஒரு கிளாரிட்டி வந்தது. ஓகே,
நமக்கு வரல, வேண்டாம்.
எதுக்கு போய் எல்லாரையும் கஷ்டப்படுத்திக்கிட்டு.
Good. Good.
But in general, I have interest towards. That is when I realized. I mean, I want to be part of, do something related to movies as such. You can criticize anything pretty easy, but to make something, it's truly a different topic. So I realized my interest towards movies in as such was, I wanted to be in some form related as such. So adnala
Okay.
I figured out I have more interest towards editing. அதுக்கப்புறம் அதையுமே எனக்கு எடிட்டிங் பிடிக்கும் நானாவே அது ஒரு பில்டு பண்ணிக்கிட்டு
ஓகே
அதுவுமே தெரியுமா தெரியாமா ஆல் மை இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் இட்ஸ் ஆல் எங்கேயோ பார்த்து ஏதோ ஒரு இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் ஆகி ஆஃப் த 10 items that you see you may end up liking 1 or 2. Of the 1 or 2 that you like, you may feel you're capable of doing one. There are only a few who get to do it, see if they are capable and move forward. So pretty much everyone has a bunch of items they think they're I belong to the same category. So மட்டும் அதை பண்ணனா அதை இப்படி பண்ணிடுவேன்ற ஒரு நினைப்புன்றது it's always there. So yeah, that's how direction was, that's how editing is, that's how everything else that I've thought of. There are certain things where I've progressed to understand, at least I'm capable of trying. Not in everything that you think you're actually capable of. But
through your life, or at what point did food became or played a huge role that you ventured into this now?
As a family, it's not like we always eat at home and the kind of family kadayad. So I remember even as a kid, my cousins used to come home because this is the only place they would get restaurant food. வந்துட்டாங்கன்னா ரெண்டு நாளைக்கு ஒருக்க or மூணு நாளைக்கு ஒருக்க we'll go out, we'll have something. Appala fried rice was something super big. Biryani veda fried rice was something big because not possible at home at all. Abdi or item. Remember vandangana adu oru gala time. This item from this restaurant, that item from that restaurant. And the very specifica we used to have items. So restaurant food is something I've been raised up with. அப்படின்ற மாதிரி கூட வச்சுக்கலாம். So I have this habit. அது சொன்ன மாதிரி தான். So when I was a kid itself, in the restaurant, in the item, specific choosy what where best அப்படின்ற மாதிரி இருக்கிறதுன்றது, that's been a habit that continued all through the life as such. So even till date, I have my own list of where whatங்கிறது. That is pretty much not. That's not the prime reason why we started this. The idea was not to start a food brand as such.
Okay.
Idea was to build a brand.
Okay.
To see if we're capable of building a brand. Just as we spoke some time back, நமக்கு இதெல்லாம் தெரியும்னு we think. See all the brands kind of grow around us. பார்க்கும்போது okay, we are actually, if we were to build this, we would have done a better job அப்படின்னு நம்மளே நம்ம சூப்பர் நம்ம பெட்டரா பண்ணியிருப்போம், they didn't do it right அப்படின்ற மாதிரி everyone has some kind of a thought around that. Similarly, I had around brand building as such, but I didn't want to just go super lame with that thought. Rather, what I thought was, let's step into a venture, try building a brand to see if we are actually capable. All the while, இதை பண்ண முடியும், we were kind of just traveling with a false pseudo thought. இல்லையா, அது ஃபால்ஸ் தாட்டா இல்லை யூ ஆர் ஆக்சுவலி கேப்பபிள் ஆஃப் பில்டிங்கான்றதுக்கு until you test it out you wouldn't you wouldn't understand your capability. You'll just live with it forever. Yeah. So this is one such uh, idea where let's put that into trial. Let's see if we are capable, not just traveling with shallow stuff. Rather, let's step into it, test the water, see how it's going. That's how this started. Idea was to build any brand, or a brand,
Okay.
ஒரு இன்டர்நேஷ்னல் குவாலிட்டிக்கு ஒரு பிராண்டை பில்ட் பண்ணணும். வாட் நாட் டு டூன்றது கிளியராக இருக்கும். இதெல்லாம் வேண்டாம். வி ஷுட் ஸ்டாண்ட் இன் திஸ் லெவல் வேர் இட் இஸ் யூ கேன் கம்பேர் இட் வித் சம் ப்ராடக்ட் குளோபலி அப்படின்றது. Food became an immediate choice. Initial choice was not food. In general, I have passion towards the dark stores kind of a format.
Okay.
The Instamart and stuff. Not now. Years before itself, I've had interest around that, where take the grocery super local to the people in a better fashion. Instamart, Blinkit, Zepto are doing great stuff with that. But this was a time when all these tech applications are missing. They're still missing something which the people want. அப்படின்ற ஒரு thought process இருந்த time.
Okay.
But that's a huge operation. It's not something you can even dream of in a level, because for you to begin a dark store kind of an operation, scalability is one asset. Second thing, you need to have dominance over all the existing players. Yeah? So even if you were to consider that, let me take the most smallest area and start an operation there, understanding the existing players, the existing retail shops, finding out how to attract the customer acquisition, all those stuff is that's pretty vague. When you don't even know the whole concept, that's pretty big. For you to step into that business and understand the whole model, you need to first identify whether you're capable of running a show. So it's like step by step process, Mary. For me to step into that, I want to try something out before that itself to understand whether I am capable, other than the whole venture. So food was like the immediate thought, because that is something you're super related to. Immediate thought away, okay, if not that, what is the first thing you would do? I'm not a person who can try out some boring stuff.
Okay.
Boring stuff makes super good money, but என்னால் அந்த போரிங் ஸ்டஃபை ரெப்படேட்டிவாக மொனாட்டனஸாக பண்ண முடியாது.
You need excitement out.
ஏதோ ஒரு ஃபார்ம் ஆஃப் எக்ஸைட்மெண்ட், ஏதோ ஒரு ஃபார்ம் ஆஃப் எஸ் ஐ எம் ஏபிள் டு லிவ் தட் ஆஸ் அ பர்சன். எனக்கு எண்ட் கோலை விட அந்த ஜேர்னி இஸ் சூப்பர் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். இமேஜின் இஃப் யூ வர் டு கெட் இன் டு எக்ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் அஸ் சச், அந்த ஹோல் ஃப்ளோவை till you find the core idea and you find the whole process around and the workflow setup பண்ற வரைக்கும் தான் it's a whole step. Then it's like there's monotonous work of making sure everything is happening. I'm not saying it is super easy. It is very tough. And the monotony adds another layer of making it even tougher, which personally doesn't work for me. But I certainly believe that the boring stuff brings great money.
True, has been proven over multiple decades.
எனக்கு வந்து என்னன்னா, I want to build multiple brands.
Okay.
At least the remaining life that's left over, build several brands as such is the plan. Adukku there is a test surface that you need to start with, and food was the immediate thought. If not dark stores, then food is the immediate thought.
Okay.
Okay, and we have something to eat here. This one's called smashed and sauced. This one's an item that we've added to the menu recently. This is something we vouch as such. We trial this item. We do it in 2 sauces. When we trial this as such, we're kind of blown away by what product that we made, because the sauce that we use here is all done in-house, and We've curated the sauce as such for a longer
We'll
period of
talk
time.
about the menu when we
Yeah,
get
so that sauce with this item is like a brilliant combination.
works well. All of our
Ideally,
sauces are good. So,
yeah, this is something people should try. Probably, if people can try, give us an idea or give a feedback on how it is. It'll give us
It'll be nice.
more perspective as such.
Okay, let's. Why is food the obvious business choice for a lot of people in this category? IT or working for 10 years, need to do something on the side or want to do something on the side. Food is the one thing that pops up.
Hmm.
So, why do you think that is? Since you've been there, done that, and now you're here.
I don't know if there's other reasons or if this industry by itself makes you think this way, but practically what I could think of is, see, you've made some money, you've saved some money. From the outside, it looks okay. I have 5 lakhs. I can open up the store because the process as such looks very simple from the outside. And on a daily basis, we go to restaurants, have some food. So the connect is almost direct for everyone. It's not like you buy an umbrella once in a while and you wouldn't that wouldn't come to your mind first. Whenever you want to start a business, you wouldn't immediately think, okay, let's get into umbrella production. That wouldn't happen as such. Since we are going to restaurants on a regular basis, and it looks simple from the outside.
Buy ingredients, prepare food, sell, make money.
You have a kitchen at home. It's pretty easy to do. All that you need is a bunch of people to do that registration and all those stuffs. You put in 5 lakhs, start something, you immediately start making money. And anyone whom you talk about restaurant will give you an impression. We had my son's birthday. We hosted
Okay.
kid's birthday in a restaurant in Chennai. So once all of that was done, the restaurant manager was like, he was asking, why don't you get into food business?
Okay.
I was not planning for any such at that point in time. And his next line was like, food is immediate money. It's like ready cash. You do something today, tomorrow itself you make money. It was sounding as if it's like cakewalk. That's it. You put in money, you're going to multiply the numbers. That's probably a thought everyone has in general. So, Anju Pathalacham, whatever you invest, it's going to double, triple, and it's easy money. So, assumption is, adala failure rate irukadu. And that too in the franchisees, the image that they put out.
The trend which is going now.
Not just now, forever. Franchisee story has been always there. Just that the influencers via it is coming out super verbally. Earlier, you had sites where you can get all franchisee details. What is the cost of each franchisee? Unknown brands list பண்ற franchisee க்கு நிறைய sites இருந்தது.
Now it has become more accessible because capex has gone down.
Most accessible at Andi, it comes to your ear. It's not like you want to hear about it.
You are
The moment you show interest on that reel, line உங்களுக்கு franchisee information.
Thousand people making the same content.
When you get to know that all that you need to put in is 5 lakhs for an X brand, 3 lakhs for a Y brand, that is pretty simple then. All that you need to do is work for the 5 and 3 or 5 lakhs, whatever. அதுவும் 2-3 friends சேர்ந்துட்டா that money is super easy. Everyone wants a secondary income.
Yes.
And the image that the food business is an easy, quick way to secondary income, that's probably a reason why people step into this. Even people who have not ventured into this, many of them, at least 50-60%, would have this idea. Even now. Okay, one day we should step into this. All that we need is X amount and we can get into it.
What is not being shown is huge. As in, this business is not just about food. There is a lot more. The surface level part is the food part. There is a lot more to this which is not being shown or not being educated properly to the people or the consumer. Even the consumer thinks, I get what I pay for. You go to a local shop, you pay 100 rupees for a fried rice, you get that. the ingredients they use, the quality, the person doing it. The same, if they pay 500 for it, they think they're getting the same value for it. That is not the case. So, changes, depends, it varies, and that is that. So,
No, if we are able to bring any bit of awareness
yes,
through these interactions, starting today, in the upcoming months and everything, this should be of some purpose. Okay, it cannot be like two people sitting together, speaking things over and over again, which they've already spoken in an amateurish way. At least I believe that's how we are starting now. But we should add some value for the person who's listening. This could be scoped primarily to people who want to get into restaurants, get into this business. Uh, if it helps them one bit, intention is not to scare them at any point in time, okay? But to for a
educate.
newbie like me to step in, to consume the pressure, if we are able to articulate it in a constructive way so that they're able to put together a whole scene, understand, prepare themselves and get into the show, that's good, because there's a lot of preparation that's required for anyone to step into this. It's not like
Yes.
your bank balance doesn't work here. Your mind, the level to which you're matured, or the level of maturity that you should take yourself to get into the business, probably any other business, I wouldn't deny that. All that I can comment as of now is only about this. That is, if we are able to cascade this appropriately to anyone who's watching, then at least
Okay.
we've served what we
The
tried, the
yes.
intention at least.
Done.
Yeah.
So, you should be in a mind space where this is what I want to do. I will make it work. Or I will try my best to make it work. Because there will be a lot of pitfalls or a lot of blockers when you move into this business, because a lot of variables are involved, from getting the right space, building the right menu, identifying the team, putting together a list of what you want, getting the kitchen ready, getting the setup ready, dine in, etc., etc. And then comes a part of managing this whole thing, running it operational or keeping it operational day to day, your purchase, procurement, all this. And there's a part where even if you do all this, you have to convince a customer to come visit and eat from your outlet. So all these parts has to be dealt with separately at each phase on your as you progress into this business. When you start, first identify what you want to do. That is what I say. If food comes in a lot of categories. If you split it into meals, it will be breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snacks. Or if you split it into cuisines, you can do Indian, South Indian, North Indian, international, American, Western, etc., etc., a lot. Or you can go into categories where you do QSR, quick service formats, or sit down restaurant, cafes, bistros. Or you can go into fine dining, a more formal dining, that sorts. Building the menu is one crucial part of this. Once you identify what you want to serve, detail down on each items. So let's say you want to do South Indian. There are a lot of South Indian places. So idli dosas, a lot of big players, old. Being in South India, there will be a lot of big players in South Indian cuisines. How would you like to be differentiated from them? Or if you're doing there is nothing wrong in doing what is existing. You can do a good idli, a good dosa, a good sambar. But still, why come to you? You should answer that question through your food. Is it special because it is different, or is it special because it is consistent every day? Or is it special because this person does this? There should be some differentiator in your product. That will make you stand out easily, or just from the outlook, it will help you stand out. So a differentiator on the menu style or item style, that could be a differentiator that can help you stand out from the get-go. Your menu is your label, basically. That is what people see. Whoever knows this brand knows it because of the menu. So that menu should be built to your taste to your customer's taste, to the infrastructure's capacity, keeping that all in mind. Once that menu is clear, you can then move into detailing what you'll need in terms of the team, in terms of utilities, equipments, infrastructure, and all of that. Based on that, you can build a system where this team prepares this food with this material on this time. This operation should be made in a way that it is, I wouldn't say easily, but replicatable every day. That replicatable operations will help you keep it running without interruptions. At least that is what you'll expect to, but there will be ups and downs because this industry depends on a lot of other industries. Food cannot operate independently. You'll need vendors for all of your products. You'll need to depend on your people to manage other people's, to get work done or product done from them. So there will obviously be a lot of mishaps, miscommunications, everything. You should be able to digest all of that and still move forward. If you hit a block and that worries you or gets you upset, you're not the right person to move forward in this business. Anything comes, your mindset should be, or you should be in a space where this will happen, but there is also good on the other side. So, or it will move forward. You should have that confidence in your business because there will be a lot of blockers, and any business is prone to have blockers, especially when you are dependent on a lot of people, a lot of small businesses around you. It is city dependent or location dependent. This is still an unorganized sector, I'd say. There is no one solution for all your questions or all your problems. Each problem will have a different solution based on where you are, who you are with, etc. etc. So be prepared to face a new problem every day and still get through it because it will pass as long as you have the right people doing the right thing.
This is not something new, right? So all of this theory, the rule set that you're talking about is something people have been doing for a long time. Yeah. So having said that, what differentiates if we say there are 100 restaurants in a locality, probably a city, of the 100, 80 fail, 20 pass. I'm giving a bigger by saying 20 pass. That's a bigger number. 20 percentage of success is
10% is what usually sustains.
let's take 10% itself. 90 fail, 10 succeed. What's the reason these 90 fail? Let's talk about the failure scenario. Why do you think these 90 fail? What are the categories in which they end up not making good business?
The first primary will be a wrong product or wrong branding from the get-go. If you are positioned in a market where people are used to getting biryani for 150 and you introduce a brand that sells biryani for 600, product market fit is, you can get customers, but again, you wouldn't be able to meet the numbers that are required to keep you running. So wrong product, wrong place is one reason to fail. The next one would be not estimating the funding you'll need. As in, people think about the capex. Not a lot of people think about the opex. So 5 lakhs, I can start a tea shop is the capex. 5 lakhs will get you the stall, your equipment, your basics. But after that is set, for you to get running, you'll need to pay for electricity, water, raw material, team, salary, accommodation, food, all of this. Now you will have to pay a certain number in this even if you do sale or don't do sale. You should be prepared to match that OPEX for a certain period till your product is known, you marketed enough, or yes, wrongly estimating the OPEX. People have CAPEX, they start a business, they don't have the money to keep the business running even when there is no business, as in there is no sale, to be particular. That is one reason to close. So I have 10 lakhs, I start a business, I can run it for 3 months. Once the sale goes down, I don't have money in my pocket to put and keep the business running. So eventually it is bound to close. You'll being in a business where there are a lot of competitors, it is easy to lose customers. And being in a place where the final product decides who you are, you're also prone to more mistakes and failures where people can judge you easily. Being in that space, you should be capable of pulling through a longer time. If you plan for the short term, this will probably not work. So, not planning for the long term is another reason to fail. One more reason could be cutting cost or cutting quality and standards. So, people start because they think this is a fancy, cool business to do. Once they get in, there is a lot of things to maintain, as in equipments, people, vendors. There is a lot to manage. This at one point, if you do not have the right people to take care for you, it will all fall on your plate. It can be overwhelming. And that can put you off because managing 20 things at one time, it can be possible for a month or two, but beyond that, it will be exhausting. Unless that is what you do and you wanted to do, it will be hard to push through that phase. So,
Now you're looking for resources, staff as such. So let's approach college A, college B, because we had our rule set as to how we are going to look for the staff as such. The planning was good, okay, but people didn't show interest at all because we have no one in the system, and everyone wants a, a safe zone to play with. They want a brand name. I mean, that's not wrong, of course. And with all the setup available, they're not able to find the right person. Okay, and they see so many other food business around them with people who don't know food, but they are handling food, which is basically a sign for them like, okay, this person is able to do it. They are making money with a person who's not trained to be a chef or something. Then why don't we also do it? Is something they will. That's obvious, right? What do you think about that?
so yes, you would not always find the right person. And again, it should be a balance. You should also learn to work with what you have. As in, you will find people. Finding the right people will take time. For that, you'll have to be a brand. You'll have to be a name where they want to work with, or whatever you're providing should be so outstanding, or let's say an amount or a number that they can't refuse or they wouldn't mind working for a smaller brand or a startup. Now, dealing with team or manpower as such, you cannot be very stern that I want them to check all the boxes, then I'll hire, then I'll start operations. You know what you want. Find people, or you will find people who match 30% of it, 40% of it, 50% of it, 10% of it. Get the most suitable one available to you. Start working with them. You cannot pull off everything you've planned with that candidate, maybe, but eventually you'll have to move forward first. You cannot wait for the right person to kickstart. You'll have to start progressing with what you have, or start running the show with what you have. So find somebody who fits any percentage of what you need. Could be 10. If 10 is what you have, start with 10. Take them, analyze them, figure out what they're capable of, and then make your operation so that they're able to perform. If you take a candidate who's able to perform 10% and ask them to perform 100%, the output will be bad, they will be stressed, you will be stressed. This will fail. Maybe not the first day, not the second day, but eventually it is prone to failure faster. Take the team, understand talk to them, understand what they're capable of or what they can pull off. Start with what they can do. If they are capable of handling this many items, that is the items you will sell. You cannot load that person also. So find people who fit the criteria on any percentage. Start with them. Get the show running. Do not always try to achieve, or any business cannot jump from 0 to 100 on day one. It has to progress. So 0, move to 10, move to 20, move to 30. Team, people, manpower is a part where culture helps. If the place is good, they will bring more people. If you treat them well, they will bring their friends. So once you have that 1, 2, 3 person who can start the show, get the things around them sorted, make things right for them, give them what they're required or what they need, the basics right. Once you take care of that part, your operations run. In a point where you need people, they'll automatically fall into the plate. So that is a way I'd suggest you can see this business. If you wait for the right person, you'll never start.
Okay, now what do you think the remaining 10% are? If you remember, we started with this segregation of
90%
90
fails.
failing and 10 succeeding. See, we pretty much revolve around the same stuff, including us in one way. I know restaurants, well performing restaurants with bad food. At least personally, I've felt bad. But they still perform super well. Restaurants with pathetic food don't perform. That is a pattern that we've seen. What do you think keeps this 10% floating well? With the same set of problems, ideally, they would also have had in the past. Now they probably have a good brand name, of course. Uh, where do you see this going in general?
Success in this business is, again, like I said before, long term. Food business is a long term business. That 10% who is successful today, they have pulled through a long period of bad times. Through funding, through people, through customers, through marketing, in a lot of ways. Holding it till you hit that turning point where people start acknowledging you, knowing you, understand your vision, or people want food. Any food you serve, if it fits the market, it will sell. But for you to sell, you have to be available. For you to be available, it is not a 3-month or 6-month thing that I start in 3 months. Everybody in Chennai will know I'm here, and 50% of Chennai will come and buy from me. You're targeting a very small percentage of people who are consuming outside. For them to know you or trust you, you need to be available, you need to produce consistent results. or you need to be in the game long enough to be a bigger player. So these 10% fall into the category of long-term or consistent outputs. It is not or, it is and probably. You've been in the business long enough, you do what you do consistently. I go there, I know what I can expect. That builds trust with the brand, with any food brand. Knowing what you can expect out of them. So being available long term, doing what you're doing consistently. And if you have dine-in, service, hospitality helps a lot. How you treat people makes them remember you. That has a recall value. So the 90% who have failed, they would have also done all of this. But there are so many things that could go wrong that
Yeah, I agree.
it is not in your control. A person who has done great food, consistent food, been in the right spot with the right menu, would not have had funds to keep it running when there were bad times. So they would have closed. But a person doing mediocre food in a decent spot would have had the backup to keep it running for 6 months through pandemic, through tough times, through days with no business, pay their staff, keep them rolling. They're still in the game. So that makes them more available, more trustworthy as a brand. That adds value to a customer. Being available adds value to a customer. So there is nothing in particular that these 90% did wrong, nor this 10% did right. It is a combination of multiple things.
Yeah, if it were to be super simple,
Everybody would have done it.
yeah. I wish it was super simple. But yeah, it's worth the travel. As long as you look at it in a positive way.
You should know when to pull the plug in this business.
Of course.
You are also human. This is a business. It is prone to failure. You are prone to breakdown. You are prone to running out of. So you should not be emotionally invested in this too deeply that I will do anything to keep this running. That will keep pulling you down further into a bad place. So you should be detached enough to understand when it is not working and be ready to pull the plug, save yourself. So that maturity is required for any business, particularly for food business.
Yeah, that's a very tough call to do, right? That's a very tough call to make because you may feel that this one attempt is the one that is going to save your whole business. Or maybe this 1 week you try and something happens magically. Everyone expects a magic to happen. Unfortunately, that never happens, or it is some effort that you've put actually worked. People always look for that magic to happen. I mean, even when you try your own business as such, that might come. That emotion might come.
You want
Even though you're not emotionally attached to it, you're consciously trying to be treating it as a pure business where you've invested money, it's got to make money and all those stuffs. The effort that you've put through it makes you stand at a point where, what if this works? What if that works? What if this was the actual break moment where everything turns all good? But for a person to understand that, yeah, let's draw a line, stick to the line, that is something very difficult because it's not about the journey, emotion, and all those stuffs, but identifying that proper line.
It is it is not black or white.
Exactly. For you to experience 3-4 months of issues or pain, then when should we actually draw the line? Is it after the 6th month, or is it now, or after the 8th month, or should we run it even for a year more? Because many people, what I feel is we have done everything and still it is not working. The restaurant near us hasn't done as much as what we have done, but it's working for them. So for someone to get out of this thought and purely think a strategical point where they can break off. If someone were to crack that, give a formula for it, say, we do have a formula for all the pricing and stuff, right? If there were to be a formula, say your capex, your opex is this much, then your breakdown point should be this much. If you don't turn up at this number, then you need to exit at this much. If there is a guidance formula as such,
Okay.
at least there's a reference point for people. Is there a formula as such?
We use one in general. So you have a capex, let's say 50 lakhs. You'll have an opex of three to four a month. The maximum you can push this without sale or without doing business, still figuring out this business, you can do till your opex hits your capex. Beyond that is a bad place to be in. So you at this point you've doubled your capex. You've spent enough time, or not time, that could go off in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. Could be in any stage. But if you are in a point where you've spent this much in capex, let's say 50, and as opex you spend 50 more for the next 10 months, and you're still not seeing any marginal growth or any reasonable growth in your business, that is one, it can be a thumb rule for a lot of people. That can apply to a lot of people, majority of the people. Then there is something wrong, or there is something which needs to be fixed inside. That, or one more marker is, if what is happening around you is driving you insane, you should stop. If somebody notices you being not you, that is a marker of things are not going right. You're being invested in it. It is draining you too. It is not worth that. So that is one more marker where if you find yourself losing yourself into this, you should probably take a step back and do an analysis on what is happening, why it is happening.
Okay, if I were to put you in a fix, say, being a consultant, you've advised a team, started a business and everything. Will you be able to put this note to them saying that, see, this much has gone through, now is the right time for you to exit? Have you trained yourself to do that?
I haven't done it before, but I will do it. I will. Till now, we are not close.
Are you keeping a tab on that?
Yes.
Okay.
As in, it has to be at a point where you have tried what is humanly possible by everything or every person inside. As in, not extremes, but you should have put effort into this. You cannot build and wait and hope it works. If it was built and then put effort into making it work, you will burn out. And that burnout will be a point of realization where we have done so much, there is no returns. That is marker number one. In my eyes, if we have checked all boxes, let's say post-opening we have 20 more boxes to check till you achieve your number. If all of that is done and still there are no returns, we would have a session, probably. That, okay, we've done this. There should be, if you're not targeting if you're not hitting our target numbers, we should at least hit 50 by that point, 50% of it. If we are still at 10% of it, I will call it off. Right? This is not going good, something is wrong with this. After we have tried everything, there's still a long time for that for any business. You cannot try everything available in a business in the first 6 months or first 1 year. That takes at least 2 to 3 years of pulling through. By that time, one thing you should keep in mind is hit the necessary numbers. you should do a basic math around. You put this, you need this every month, you need this much to keep you running, you can contribute this much. We did that math, you gave that number, so that conversation should happen. If the person is not capable of pulling that in, this wouldn't have been a business from the beginning.
Okay,
Okay, yes.
let's just take this light.
Okay, it's getting
So much of
too serious.
information.
Okay,
Yeah.
done.
Let's talk about why a podcast, because YouTube is already bloated. Not just YouTube, Spotify, any other podcast systems, they're already bloated with enough information and all those stuff, right? So why podcast as such? What's your take on that? I know why we wanted to step into this,
Okay.
but if at all you already had a thought, then why podcast?
I have information. I wouldn't say I know everything. I know what I know. I've learnt it by doing. This is not book knowledge or things I've read and saying to somebody. I've been through this process. I've worked for this. I've done the work. So whatever I know, I want to pass it to somebody else. And I felt podcast is one way to do it. There are multiple ways. This felt like a more reasonable way where with you, it made it easier because we've done this in the same position where you wanted to do this business. I knew somewhat of this business, so we both came together to make Loupe happen. This podcast for me is a place where I get to spread the knowledge or spread the word of what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what can be done, what couldn't be done, or what is not possible. From my perspective, could be wrong, could be different from a lot of people, could be different from the industry, but yes. So, in one way, giving back, yes. For you, why podcast?
I mean, there's no burden for us to do podcast as such. Every food brand follows its own way of marketing the brand as such. For Loupe, we didn't want to follow the usual stuff of getting into influencers or the standard marketing tricks is something we didn't want to do. Not primarily because it was all getting saturated at some point in time. It was all looking the same. As a I mean, everyone is a consumer. End of the day, even if we own a brand, we are consumers of what other brands produce. There are few brands with great Instagram handles. We were talking about what Ananda Sweets.
Ananda's, yeah. I thought
Yeah, Ananda Sweets was.
Ananda's was great content.
Yeah, both Ananda Sweets, Ananda Bakery, whatever content they put out.
Cadbury, 5-star. They
Of
were
course.
good.
Those are Cadbury is someone who can pull off.
Capable. So
Capable. But again, you've got to appreciate because even in that stage,
not a lot of people
not many
put that
brands
much
put
effort.
that effort. I mean, it's not just that brand. The brand has to find the right media agency for them to. There are a lot of variables over here as well. But for Anandas, who's not the size of Cadbury, for them to put the effort to find the correct media agency to bring out great content that is brilliant because of if both Ananda Sweets and the bakery, if you were to see their profile, if there are 100 reels, of 100, 70 would be like quite close. They have an irk, or they produce content which is kind of interesting in a different way. The one that we saw recently is like it
coming to
checked all the
Chennai,
points.
yeah,
Yeah, that's like taking every department seriously. Shooting well, editing well, producing well, so that the 40-50 seconds a person is going to watch you make it worthwhile. Okay, the other one is I'm not a person who's into so much of podcast as such. I don't consume a lot of podcast. choosy. Nikhil Kamath's the WTF stuff is something I've been following for a long time. We've discussed a lot about that. That series as such is an eye opener in terms of anyone who wants to step into any business as such. I wouldn't say that to be a guide, but it at least gives you a reasonable idea as to what you can expect, if not in detail. They cover one category each episode, probably. Not structured that way though. The restaurant oriented episode was that gave a lot of insight. Hearing it from uh, the big fits over there itself, that made so much sense as such. Nikhil is a big inspiration in general. And with respect to this podcast as a series, his idea of giving out information the right way for people to consume, it worked. I'm one such consumer. If that is working, then it is fair enough that we take, I would suggest every department does this. Now that we are into food, it's logical that we take up food, talk in detail so that people who are already into it or who are stepping into it, I mean, the guiding point, kind of, kind of carrying what Nicholas started that way, should call it that way. That is one main reason, or probably the biggest reason why we are into this.
Why loop and a
Okay.
rough outline of the journey till this point.
Just as everyone who's trying to step into food, the first thought that they primarily get is to venture into a tea business. Same thing worked for me. Not sure why, what's the logic behind it, what is the attraction factor, no clue on that. But I'm also one such person who wanted to step into tea as such. But what I wanted to do was, I wanted to do something which is tech driven. By tech driven, even though everyone is ordering via Swiggy or Zomato, the core idea was, if there is a person who's going to step out from his office, imagine in a IT hub where they're going to step out of office to get a glass of tea. I wanted a scenario where you just place your order, walk down, carry your cup of tea, and go back. It should become as simple as possible. Don't come, order, wait, go. No. Whatever you want, place your order. Should be ready by the time you come. Pick and leave. That as a mechanism should be available already. That was the initial thought. And of course you can build more on that. You can start with subscriptions as such. That is one interesting point I've always had. If someone is able to pull that off better, cool. Breakfast beverages is one place where that would ideally work. If
Any
not
repeat
for the same
consumption.
item, at least you can group items into a category and do a subscription.
Make a schedule.
Yeah. And anyone who's working for a company who's staying in another city as such, they are bound to eat outside. If at all they don't have, they're not in a PG or something. Imagine it that way. That's a place where subscription ideally would work. When someone is subscribing, say he's going to eat 7 days a week, all 30 days, charge him for 25 days, 5 days is office. You hold the customer for a longer period of time. The actual plan was not doing the normal tea. We wanted to do this Irani chai, condensed version of
Basically, dessert variation of tea.
kind of, but maybe a 3-sip glass or something, super short. That is something we started with. Then the idea kind of started to polish. We started to add layers. What if this was there? What if that was there? As a question started up. And I personally took some time to think what is more logical. I personally have a bunch of rules that I shouldn't do
Okay.
in every item as such. So I kind of try to understand what is that I don't want to do in terms of food. With that, we came up with the base idea for Loupe. So before even we stepped into this version where you came in, we did a trial run basically where a friend of mine helped us with a recipe. I had an idea for what I want to do, what I want to proceed and introduce. So got in touch with a friend of mine who's been a friend that I know for probably 4 5 years odd, who bakes, who's a home baker. So I was like, I have this idea. Let's just give it a shot. Let's prepare and see the whole stuff. And the core idea was I want to test the surface to see how the market is. What Swiggy and Zomato does. The idea was as a premium cafe, but even before that, let's understand what people think about your product. So let's start as a cloud kitchen. So we built this whole recipe from ground up. I had no clue about pricing. I had no clue. I had no clue about anything around the stuff.
Except to produce good food.
Yeah, just the core intention alone was there. So you were mentioning about the 90% failing because you have to know this, right? I had no idea about any of that. But I had just one intention that let's see what is happening. Okay. And we produced a bunch of items, we trialed with Zomato and Swiggy, understood how their ads work, understood how their offers work, got to know how Zomato and Swiggy basically operate, what is their take from the whole stuff. I think that's very important if you're getting into a food business because Zomato and Swiggy, this duopoly, they play the major role.
Right now, yes.
Yeah. And at least at the moment, I don't see anyone else changing the market as such, even though we know that there could be this new person into the stuff.
Yes.
But I'm still skeptical as to how that is going to change the market. So assuming Zomato and Swiggy is still going to rule for a longer period of time, they control the business. So unless you know the way they control, you cannot start any in a metro like Chennai. It is very difficult to survive without Zomato and Swiggy. If you are on a cloud or a takeaway business, it is not difficult, it is impossible to survive without Zomato and Swiggy. If you are on a takeaway related business.
Even for dine-in, if you're not on a prime location, you need visibility through online. So
I mean, I've been through this age where I've tried Food Panda, Just Eat, Uber Eats, Amazon Food. Amazon was into food.
Okay.
All of them are gone, either completely or just traces available. And Zomato and Swiggy have been consistent in just building what they are capable of. Kudos to them for whatever that they've done. But now when you're standing on this side, I've always been a fan of Swiggy as a consumer. To see them start from scratch, I've used them since the start. Just Eat, Food Panda, Uber Eats came towards the end. Vinayak Kumari, it came towards the end. But Swiggy was the first one to be the professional kind of an application. People are not used to it. I mean, that's not a selling point, of course, but that's a hidden stuff that works inside your mind, right? For me, that was the primary stuff. I enjoyed using their application. To see them grow from nothing to what they are now, personally, super happy. Now, when you're standing on the other side of the plate, to be one of their clients, vendor, whatever you call them, partner,
partner.
I suppose.
They call it partner.
So now, to understand the terms, the way they operate, the commission that they charge towards each order that goes through, that's a pain. Personally, that's a pain. Is it not just that we are feeling it this way? Kind of the whole industry. Yeah. Now, you cannot plan a business without them, but at least you should know what is going to happen if at all you get into such a business. So this testing surface of running this for a short while is something we did with that. That by itself is an experience. The I think we did that for 2-3 months probably. The two
Yes,
three
I
odd
know that.
months of running that to understand. We did everything during the period. We had a specific time when we were running the business. Then we kind of switched times. We ran during the night hours. That was the second one. Then we tried the offers, the ads, just to see what everything works. Once we got pretty clear idea of how things are operating, that is where we decided that okay, now it's time for us to spread into a proper menu. That the trial run that we did was primarily with just one product. I think two products, just two items, sandwiches and
Sandwich.
pastas alone. That too, probably three sandwiches, two pastas, something like that. Once we had a clear idea, we were like, okay, now it's time that we expand to a proper menu. We didn't make money out of it. The clear idea is not like, okay, we made super money and then we made nothing out of it, but at least we got an idea as to what we can expect. And that period gave me an idea what a cloud kitchen is.
Okay.
That gives so much of insight into what we should be building as a next takeaway option. Why Loop? Pretty much this. But what is Loop made of is a different topic altogether.
Why Loupe for me is the first or second conversation we talked about the vision of this project. So that stood out. As in, you were practical with your expectations. You were clear with what you wanted, what you expected out of this, which made it easier for me to pick this project. So that is one huge reason. Your vision for this project was clear, that aligned with what I do. So for me, it was an easy call to take up Loop as a project. Number two is this is a challenging project to pull off in terms of food. Having or being a startup with to start with less resource and operate in a way that not a lot of outlets operate today. Make everything in-house, made fresh, made to order. All items are made with intention. Nothing is on the menu for the sake of being on the menu. That was a challenge from the beginning, which kept me going through the process of getting this up and running. So the vision matched, yes. There was a challenge for me to do. Or the project was not, let's get this from here, put it on the menu, sell it. It was, let's create something. That was exciting for me. So these two were the primary hook for me to get on board with Loop. And after onboarding, I went to the previous kitchen to understand what your operations were. That time it was a shared kitchen in between a cloud kitchen. So yes, our first decision was, if you're doing it, let's do it right, and let's do it not on a big scale but on a reasonable scale. So we had it closed not very far from that, probably almost immediately. We shut that operations down, and then we started parallelly we started planning for the next one. So we went through probably a couple of months in planning, let's say. We used to have sessions every alternate days or
Yeah.
twice a week. We do these 5 a.m. sessions where midnight sessions where we talk about the project. So that phase was basically having conversation, taking ideas, putting in, see if it fits. If it doesn't fit, remove it, move to the next one. So that phase of putting this project together on paper helped us in a lot of ways. It made a clear picture of what should we expect? Obviously, we had a mismatch with the numbers
No, at
executing
least in
this.
terms of the menu, the food, we kind of
Operation also,
nailed it correctly.
yes. So that part, the planning phase helped. So for anybody who's doing this, the right way to do it is get things on paper as much as possible, as detailed as possible. So that is one part that helped.
I come from an industry where it's mostly process. Every project we pick up, there are several project management softwares that help us in planning the whole stuff through. All the companies that I've worked, I've had great managers. I've had brilliant managers as such. Blessed in a way. The process around appraisal, the feedback system, the skip level meetings, all of this, when you're used to this for a very long time, that becomes part of your routine. And you end up in a space where criticism or taking feedback becomes part of your life. Okay. We follow that at home. It's not just at work, at home, it's not so very different. I have something that I've got to tell my wife. Not as structured as how you would do. It's not like making it super machine stuff. But we make it a point that there is enough space for the opposite person to attempt to convey. Conveying is the next part. To be even able to attempt or have the thought that let me approach this person and tell that you're wrong. That is something we practice at home. So with all of this, Loupe comes after this, right? So I've been working for X years, got married. So with all this practice, intention is I don't want to consume what the industry already does. No matter if the industry is doing something good, great, super. Let's take that on board. But I already have several processes that I'm used to, which is already good, proven, works in a different industry. Yes, why not here? It's all about interpersonal skills, right? End of the day, accepting someone saying that you're wrong has got nothing to do with any software. It's not bound to a specific discipline. No. So the idea itself is take all the goods from this industry and try to build or try to step into this new place. That was the core idea. And this is something we've spoken in detail. We've not been able to execute it completely because there are still points where we haven't hit specific numbers so that we're not able to
reach that.
We're not able to implement such. But to whatever we have done so far, we're trying to implement it.
Yes.
Okay, that is something I feel happy about because, as I said, for me, it's always about the journey. Any relationship for me, it's about the journey. You're in college, it's about the journey. Loupe is completely about the journey as such. It should succeed. The goal, everything is there. Still, but the whole process of building this is something I should cherish, and that should be a good dream that I should always be able to hold on to. Not like something I should erase off the system. I usually don't have such stuff, but I'm trying to make sure that everyone is aligned so that together we build such a system. Because a relationship, it's pretty easy. If it's just between two people, then all that you have to do is convince the other person or convince yourself. Together you're trying to put a show. But this is not the same, right? There are so many people involved. One person can jeopardize your entire plan around what you want to build. Because I want to build culture. I want to keep people as the first one, whether it's the customer or the employee, the aggregator or the delivery partner who's delivering. Everyone plays a role for us to win. So everyone should win. The takeaway for each one would be different, but end of the day, we should not let the people fall. Just as I said, what I don't want to do something I'm very clear with. I'm also pretty clear with what I want to do, not in every aspect, but there's a learning curve towards everything. But in terms of food, I had very big learning curve to understand how the industry operates. I was shocked to understand how the industry operates, but that kept aside, we define how we want to operate because it's end of the day, it's our company, right? And that was actually possible. One main reason is because you came on board. Because I was not looking for a consultant, as you know. The prime idea was to just expand the menu logically and probably train the team, build a better team. I did interview a bunch of people, spoke to a bunch of people, and we had a session. Some reason it worked, it clicked, and we just started. It was very easy for me personally because for me to, this whole idea is still there in my mind what I want to do in terms of this podcast, in terms of the branding that we want to do, the new menu that we want to do, everything as such. But I personally, what I believe is it's my duty to convey it properly because the other person cannot see what's there in my mind. It's my duty to articulate it to the best so that it can be realized as such. But again, that is not easy to put your idea into exact words so that the opposite person understands in the same perspective is super tough. Not
Unless
easy.
you're a computer.
Yeah. I believe what we've pulled off with Loupe in terms of the team, the menu, is something I don't regret one bit. I'm personally happy about what we've pulled off. We still have a long journey to move forward, but yeah, thanks for what you've done so far. Should we close then?
We can close.
Works then. Thanks. Cool. Let's wrap.